All right, let's get this started. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is a really cool opportunity. You're going to be talking with Oren Koules from Twisted Pictures, who is also the co-producer of the Saw film series, as well as Michael Roddy, who is show director here at Universal Orlando. And they're going to be taking questions and talking to you about how we're adapting Saw into Halloween Horror Nights this year and actually bringing the film to life. So does anyone have any questions to start out with?
Hey, Michael, it's Rob Alvey from Theme Park Review.
Hey, Rob.
Can you guys tell us about some of the new technology you guys are adding to some of the mazes and experience with the Saw characters?
Sure. Well, first off, let's just take a look at the partnership with Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures. You know, Saw is a great brand, and Halloween Horror Nights, as you're well aware, is something that we like to present in a very immersive, very aggressive, very intense scenario to put our guests in. And if you look at the Saw films, they're a perfect fit for Halloween Horror Nights. So we wanted to make sure that people would feel what it would be like to be inside Jigsaw's lair and to actually experience that. What would it be like to be trapped in that kind of environment? So we worked very closely with the producers and with Lionsgate to make sure that as you walk through Jigsaw's lair, you're going to see the traps that you saw only on screen. All of a sudden, you're going to see them actually be in the environment with them. And our actual take on the maze this year is that as you move through, you're actually causing the traps to spring. Your participation in just being in the maze is what's causing these people to experience these very intense traps and pain.
Cool. Can you guys talk about any of the traps in particular and maybe some of the technology you guys use to pull off some of this stuff?
Absolutely. Well, you know, if you're a fan of the Saw films like I am, we've kind of picked the greatest hits. And in doing that, you're going to see everything that you've seen before, as far as you're going to see a reverse bear trap, you're going to see the hair pull, you're going to see barbed wire, you're going to come face-to-face with Billy. And we've used a lot of techniques as far as combining air effects, combining triggers, combining audio-activated triggers, so that as these traps come to life, you feel the repercussions of what's happened.
Sounds awesome. Michael, this is Eric Gates from Behind the Thrills.
Hi, Eric.
How's it going?
Fantastic, man. Halloween's going to be crazy.
It sounds like it, and with all the crazy Saw stuff, with partnership with Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures, why Saw? Why not something like Michael Myers with Halloween, especially with Rob Zombie H2 coming out this year? Why Saw? I realize that they also have Saw 6 coming out October, which is a perfect opportunity. Why this avenue instead of, say, Halloween 2 and Saw? Why not that?
Well, let me actually.
I take great umbrage with that, but I'll let you answer first.
Yeah, and then I'll toss it over too, because I think it's going to be a good 1-2 punch. Saw, as you know, now become a tradition just like Halloween Horror Nights. People every year, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. And those films do not disappoint. There are other films that are out there and other franchises that are out there, but we believe Saw is the premier horror franchise in the market today. We looked at a number of different things and just didn't think they would fit our dynamic, but the one that we knew would fit would be Saw. And we started working with the Lionsgate folks, and you know, I'm going to let the producer answer the rest. But for us, it's a partnership that has been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for us, I mean, Saw, 4 straight years in Halloween of number one at the box office. You know, for us is kind of shows, that Tim Palin and everyone at Lionsgate has done an amazing job of just basically saying, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. And, we're really proud to be, being partnering up with Universal just to kind of see our characters come to life. And that's the most amazing thing for us.
Well, the next obvious question, is this going to be the start of another franchise? Could we possibly see something else at Universal? Of course, the obvious question, could we see a Saw ride at Universal? Maybe perhaps a makeover in years to come of one of the attractions specifically for Halloween Horror Nights?
I think that's really up to them. Listen, we're unbelievably excited about this partnership. Starting late September through Halloween, to have that many people come through and be able to experience, not in 2D, not in 3D, but in real life, to experience our characters, to experience all the different traps from 1 through 6. for us is just, it's just an amazing partnership. So if it's up to Universal, we would always be open to extending it.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic partnership, and as I said earlier, we're fans of the film. We believe in the franchise, so we hope that this begins a long relationship with Jigsaw.
Hey, Mike, it's Rob Alvey again. Can you just give us a little more insight, kind of like the whole package, of the maze, maybe like where it's located? Are you guys doing pre-shows, post-shows, that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. We actually have found a place over in the Jaws extended queue, which is a perfect environment to present the warehouse setting of Jigsaw, so that as you approach, you start hearing news reports, you start hearing, you'll see the trailer teasing the next Saw film, which comes out October 23rd. And then as you enter, you actually are in Jigsaw's lair, and you're seeing where he creates the traps, replicated from the movie, except now you're actually walking through it. And then you come face-to-face with Billy, and you have the pre-recorded message, and it sets you on your path. And then it's moving through this labyrinth of traps and people that have been attached to these traps. And as you move through, you're causing them to experience the pain just by your involvement there. You become the ultimate voyeur. And as you progress further and further, things begin to get even more aggressive, and then these people, once the trap's set, react upon you.
Cool.
Hi, this is Paul with ideologyofmadness.com. And, you mentioned that we're going to come face-to-face with Billy. And I was just wondering, with the partnership, are we talking about actually hearing Tobin Bell's voice as part of the attraction?
Here's what I will tell you, is that Mr. Bell has recorded specific dialogue just for Universal Orlando.
Fantastic, thank you.
This is Elise with FearNet.com. And Oren, I wanted to know, what are the differences between producing a film and producing a maze? Are there different challenges to each?
Being a good producer means you know how to delegate. And if it's a great day on the set and you do nothing, so producing the maze, I have no idea. I'm not producing the maze. I'm lucky enough to have the great partners that are doing this. They came to us and along the way in different, on some creative things and on some just along the way to check off on some technical things. But no, this is 100% done by done out of our hands.
Guys, one of the other things I'd love to talk about as well is this partnership with Lionsgate is really the premiere. It's the umbrella with which we started this whole rip from the silver screen thematic for Halloween Horror Nights. The first thing we went after was Saw. We knew that was the premier horror franchise, and then we started falling into place. We had other franchises like The Wolfman, which is coming from Universal Pictures, Chucky. We decided to reinvent Frankenstein and Dracula. We have maze experiences that are going to reference Shaun of the Dead, Phantom of the Opera. We have scare zones for Cirque du Freak, which is another Universal picture coming out. So it's great to kind of launch with Saw and then have all of this other great content in addition to it for this rip from the silver screen thematic.
Hey, Mike, Rob Delvey again. I have a question just about how you guys put mazes into development. Do you guys have specific teams for each maze, like designers and artists, or do they cross-pollinize over several mazes?
We have a design team that starts actually with the creative development. I head up the creative development team, and basically we decide, okay, what are our main ideas for the year? We know that this year going in we have 8 mazes, 6 scare zones, 2 live shows, and the creative content for that. What is it? And once we decide on the thematic of Rip from the Silver Screen, and we started talking to great partners like Lionsgate and Universal Pictures, those ideas started falling into place. Then we turn it over to a design team where we're there to develop things, but then they actually draw the maze. But it's one team. They don't cross-pollinize. There's one team of people that are responsible for the entire event, and they're amazing. Some of the most amazing artists and designers in the business. A lot of them have film credits. I mean, if you come to our event, which you have, you know that you're going to be immersed in film quality sets with amazing characters, amazing sound effects, amazing effects. And, there's no other place. You're going to be here, and you're going to be walking through Jigsaw's lair. You're going to be walking through woods and have the Wolfman attack you. You're going to be walking and come face to face with Chucky, and then after that, you're going to be running.
Wow. That must be, do these guys ever get time off? I guess maybe after November 2nd?
No. Actually, we start development of Halloween the next year. We actually are well down the path of Halloween 2010 right now. So Halloween has become a year-round design for us.
Oren, this is Jeremy Schoolfield from Fun World Magazine at IAPA. I was wondering if you could talk about, what it's like for you to see your franchise transition from film into a theme park setting.
It's pretty surreal. I mean, I obviously seeing it in schematic and going to see it in person, I'm pretty excited to. I'll actually go to both. Since I have homes in Tampa and in Los Angeles, I will go to both of them. And I don't know. I mean, it's pretty surreal. It's hard to explain that we were shooting, 6 years ago or 7 years ago now, shooting in a place with 30 floors, and you can't even imagine the conditions we shot Star One in, and using our own money and. Bed and stealing, just to get the movie done, to be here, even talking to you guys. It honestly, this days, it doesn't seem real.
Now, here, some 7 years later, we're replicating those dirty floors and replicating that design to scare the hell out of you.
Yep.
Do you feel that, how do you feel as far as just from a kind of a broader perspective, how the theme park environment, especially around the Halloween time, kind of meshes with what you've been able to create with the Saw franchise?
Well, I think I touched a little bit before, but for us, it's we never want to sell out. We never want to, and so it's like we don't. It's not even no money involved. For us, it's just letting people experience our characters, experience our traps in real life. So it's not about for us, it's such an amazing. Tie-in that we can actually have people who visualize these traps in their minds and watch these movies over and over to be able to actually, see one. And to me, it's just a great extension of the brand.
And Michael, would you be able to just touch base quickly on, how you have seen the Halloween season grow just in general over the last several years, and kind of put it in perspective for you guys now about how, its level of importance on your annual operating calendar?
Starting with Halloween Horror Nights in 92, I've been involved with Halloween events every year since then, so this has become actually quite a career for me. But, the importance of the haunt industry, it's now second only to Christmas, and I think it's actually dangerously close to overtaking Christmas as just a financial model. I'll tell you why. It's the same reason why horror films are so successful, and I love them. It's you go in, you're safe, but you get to be scared. It's cathartic. You get to enjoy the story. You get to feel the experience. You get to get scared, and then you walk out, and everything's fine. That's the same reason why theme parks jumped at first into this. I mean, just our regular park during the day. There's no other place on earth where you're face to face with a great white shark, or battle aliens at MIB, or see a tornado, a twister. Then at night, where else are you going to be able to walk into Jigsaw's lair and be tested? Where else are you going to come face to fangs with the Wolfman? Where else are you going to see the Frankenstein monster? There's only one place, and that's what we deliver, and we take great pride in the fact that we do that.
Hey, Michael, this is Eric again. One thing that really came together last night, of course, was the Halloween Horror Nights website. Everything finally came together. We finally got to see who was getting everybody ripped from the silver screen, why everything was getting ripped, and we have this great-looking usher. How big of a role is he going to play in this year's event? Last year, Bloody Mary was everywhere. Bloody Mary was the event. This year, is the usher going to be a complete, just immersive experience like Bloody Mary was, or is he just going to be kind of the representative of what everything is?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. The front arch of Universal Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights is going to be transformed into the Universal Palace Theater. You'll come face to face with the usher there. You'll have to come in through that facade, and then once you're in our park, you are literally in the moments that have been ripped from the silver screen. We also have a maze that tells the backstory of the usher. The usher, you will feel him everywhere. He will be on the street, looking for you to make sure that you don't disobey the rules of the theater. We're using building projections. We're using voice talent. We've shot so much footage with the usher, and as you can see, we're pretty proud of him. We kept him contained and kept him pretty good secret now for a couple of months, and now that we're able to reveal him as kind of the gateway, we're very proud of him. So yeah, you'll feel his presence.
Well, one thing that a lot of people are arguing about is because this is a movie year, because we are ripped from the silver screen, why not bring back the director? Why the usher when this is, well, I mean, it's an obvious fit for both, but why the usher over, say, the director? Why not bring back a familiar face?
That's an easy one. The director was about making films. This is about being trapped in films. This is about the characters being ripped from the silver screen and you being in their environments. This isn't about making movies. This is about experiencing them.
Good answer, good answer.
Thank you. I love that there's an argument about it, though.
You know us geeks, we always try to throw each other's theories out the window.
So another question for the Saw, or going back to Saw at least. So you guys talk about like some of the traps. What films are we going to see these come from? Is it the whole franchise, or is it just the first couple? And how did you guys decide that?
I think between the two parts, I think every film is covered.
Yeah, I know for a fact here in Orlando, we run the gamut. You will see an experience from each of the Saw films up until Saw 6.
Awesome. Okay, that's cool. Hey, Oren, before you guys start collaborating with Roddy and the team on this project, how much exposure did you have to Halloween Horror Nights before? I mean, is it all new to you? Have you been a fan for years? That kind of thing.
You know what? I've been to one of them in L.A., and but I've been a fan. I mean, you know what? The thing is, in the last 5-6 years, we've been pretty busy around this time.
How much work is left on specifically the Saw house or any of the houses?
We are about 95% done across the board, but that last 5%. I don't know how it is in the film business, Oren, but in the design business for theme parks, that last 5% is always the toughest.
I was going to ask Michael, when do you actually do your first walk through the houses? How, about what time of the year does that usually take place for you?
I start walking through the houses right after they begin construction, which is normally the end of May. And then weekly, I'll take a walk, and then as we enter September, I'm twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, I'll walk through the mazes. And, some of that's necessity, some of it's because it's really cool.
Do you guys have, your equivalent of dailies, for example, like they do in the film business? How does that work for developing a maze?
Cool is we're always going in and taking photographs and looking at lighting tests and looking at the best placement for characters and what the most optimum scare is and what the room's going to sound like. I mean, it's really just the most awesome piece of theater because, they're based on these things that you've only seen in 2D, and now all of a sudden it's in a real environment. So you kind of get giddy about it. You're walking through this environment, and, as kind of one of the chief architects, I really enjoy sitting in there and enjoying the work.
That's cool.
Are there any last questions?
This is Barb Neffer from Examiner.com, and to the point of going through the houses, is there any chance to see the Unmasking the Horror, I think it was, or the backstage tours being resurrected?
I do know that there's some discussion about having VIP tours this year. You might want to check the website. I know there's going to be an announcement made pretty soon.
Thank you.
We love doing those. We love having the opportunity we love having these conversations with you guys because, we get to show off. And, we're not lost on the fact that I'm on the phone with the producer of one of the movie franchises that I love, and now I get to actually be part of that environment. So, thanks to Lionsgate and thanks to Twisted Pictures and thanks to Oren.
And thank you guys for having us. I'm equally as giddy about this year's event, so it all looks awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you, everyone, for participating. Thanks to our special guests, Michael and Oren. And if there are any unanswered questions that any of you had, just feel free to email myself and Lindsay or Kristen Clark here at Universal, and we can follow up with Michael and Oren. And thanks again for a great call.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.